I honestly felt this was coming. Scarlett Johansson sues Disney over Black Widow's streaming release. She sues them over breach of contract and suing them for a $50 million payday cut. According to sources, this was reported on the Wall Street Journal, Yahoo, and several other media sources. I honestly knew this was coming because last year, a lot of media studios started releasing movies on their online streaming services. And to my understanding, the only producer or director and actress that actually got a cut from the streaming release was Gal Gadot and the director of Wonder Woman 1984. And there were other articles regarding very similar situations as far as Denzel Washington, Keanu Reeves, and a lot of other big time movie stars who were already locked into contracts, but none of these movie studios reached out to them to work out some type of deal as to how the movies would be released and how profits would be split. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so this was just announced about 30 minutes ago. Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney over Black Widow profit releases for them releasing the movie to streaming and taking a $50 million pay cut. Now, as you guys know, Disney Plus averages about $29 a month, and a lot of families are subscribed to that. So if those individuals went to a theater, so let's say a mom, dad, couple of kids on average, obviously Disney has a huge fan base where they have a lot of families subscribe to their service, which, and of course, has resulted in her $50 million cut from the movie. Scarlett Johansson, star of the latest Marvel movie Black Widow, filed a lawsuit Thursday in LA Superior Court against Disney, alleging her contract was breached when the media giant released the film on its Disney Plus streaming service at the same time as its theatrical debut. Ms. Johansson said in the suit that that her agreement with Disney's Marvel Entertainment guaranteed an exclusive theatrical release, and her salary was based in large part of the box office performance of the film. Disney intentionally induced Marvel's breach of contract or breach of the agreement without justification in order to prevent Mrs. Johnson's from realizing the full benefit of her bargain with Marvel, the suit said. Disney couldn't be reached immediately for comment. The suit could be a bellwether for the entertainment industry. Major media companies are prioritizing their streaming services in pursuit of growth and are interesting or increasingly putting their high value content on those platforms. Those changes have significant financial implications for actors and producers who want to ensure that growth in streaming doesn't come at their expense. This will surely not be the last case where Hollywood talent stands up to Disney and makes it clear that whatever the company may pretend, it has a legal obligation to honor its contract, said John Berlinski, an attorney at Kasowitz Benson Torres LLP, who represent Ms. Johansson. Disney began releasing movies simultaneously on Disney Plus and in theaters partly because of the COVID-19 pandemic, where theaters were closed or at limited capacity and partly to boost its nascent service. AT&T Incorporated Warner Media, which operates the HBO Max streaming service, is following a similar strategy for its entire 2021 slate of Warner Brothers movies. Comcast Corp's NBC Universal has since followed suit with the release of the Boss Baby Family Business, both in theaters and on its Peacock streaming service. So, long story short, back last year, there was an announcement made that a lot of movie studios or actors weren't happy. And to my understanding, again, I believe the director of Wonder Woman and Gal Gadot, they actually had their contracts renegotiated prior to release for Wonder Woman 1984. Keep in mind when these movies are made, obviously they're made a few years ago before the release, and then of course COVID hit, and so a lot of these actors already signed these contracts, whether they're going to get something, a percentage off of theatrical release, back end promotions, movie deals, etc. The problem is if they don't release the movie directly to the theater and they put it on Disney Plus, obviously you can't bill or charge a ticket for a head count. Obviously, Disney Plus is $29. if a family of four, maybe five or whatever, wanted to see, the movie at the theater, obviously they're going to pay a little bit more. And then again, I actually heard it on the radio. This was mentioned last year. Keanu Reeves, Denzel Washington, and many other actors didn't have the chance or the choice to renegotiate their contracts, like Gal Gadot did, and also several others. As you guys know, Keanu has a big deal with The Matrix, and then also John Wick. We don't know if those are going to come to HBO Max instantly, but that's going to affect all of these actors' pay grade in terms of these companies making a rash decision without discussing it with the actors, the producers, the directors, or anybody else involved about renegotiating contracts. Remember, Black Widow was originally supposed to release back in May 2020, and then of course COVID hit. I know Fast and Furious, that's obviously made by Universal, but they don't have a streaming service to my knowledge, and so obviously that went to theaters. But the biggest deal is, from my understanding, a lot of the country is reopened, but California is still taking a big hit. They're still shut down, and so that's affecting a lot of these actresses and actors' payday. And so I totally agree and definitely stand with Scarlett in this, in situation, because contracts are already worked out probably 3 or 4 years ahead in advance, and obviously nobody saw COVID coming, but they could have reached out, to her people to give her a back end deal off of Disney Plus, membership or subscriptions. But this was just to totally cut somebody off at the knees, as how they have done some of the other films that have recently been coming out. I mean, obviously you have Mulan and a lot of other Warner Brothers movies, such as Birds of Prey and some of the other DC flicks that have also come out because they are backed with Warner Brothers. But this isn't going to be the first nor the last case that you hear of an actor going after a major production studio. Because as you guys know, even though California and a lot of other places are slowly opening back up, and who knows, they may shut down again. Again, I have to definitely agree with people in this situation, actors in this situation, that obviously negotiate contracts, and these producers or actually film execs are just cutting them off at the knees. They're trying to get their movies out there to make as much money as possible really quickly, but without honoring the person's contract. I mean, I personally think that also a lot of other actors and actresses should take this stance as well, because they are owed money. A lot of people have been hampered by them releasing their films directly to a streaming service where they could have had a bigger payday at the theatrical release. And nothing's been said, nothing's been done. And I know that even Denzel Washington, he was affected by this when was it The Little Things, I believe that movie was called, came out about a year ago, as well as several other movies that are big time actors, actresses are signing up for these major blockbuster roles or pictures, and they're not consulted with in regards to how the release the movie is going to be released. And here you have them just trying to release a movie to get whatever they can out of it. Now, it really made me wonder. I mean, I thought Black Widow did okay. It's, for me, it's not a blockbuster movie like a Spider-Man or a Hulk or Iron Man. I mean, to me, the storylines like this is like what you call a filler. And, I think that's where a lot of people are also disappointed. You get different rave reviews about movies, but other than the whole Taskmaster situation, I thought the movie did exceptionally well. I mean, it helped add additional information to the whole MCU storyline. But yeah, if she's due that kind of money and they cut her off like this, then she should definitely get her payday. But this kind of makes me wonder if this is why Kevin Feige was so nervous, because he was really adamant that this movie would perform well. He wasn't really sure. And now I can see why. When they're promising people money for theatrical releases, and they're releasing it on different streaming services. And of course, keep in mind too that obviously this may not affect the market as much, but even if a movie is streamed online, it gives other people who could have potentially seen the movie a better opportunity to bootleg it. Because typically, when a movie is in the theater for a little while and before it comes out to DVD, you at least have 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks before you can get an online digital copy of a movie. But the online digital copy of this movie was available the same day. So again, I know there are other people out there that will say that, in past markets, if somebody was really a fan, they would have bought tickets anyway. But I mean, it happens. It happens where you have high end digital films that from these streaming services that are available for you to download right off of a torrent, as opposed to just having it as a theatrical release, and that kind of circumvents it for at least 2 or 3 weeks, where the company or the studio can make a little bit more money. But all in all, I'm definitely for this. I'm glad somebody actually is speaking up and is actually taking a stance against this, because this is their livelihood. And it's unfortunate. I know this was her last Marvel movie. It could have been more, who knows. But hopefully they come to an agreement with Scarlett in this type of situation, because she was just railroaded. And she's not the only actor in Hollywood right now suffering from this situation. And a lot of people really don't know exactly what the projected income could be for their movie that's been released to a streaming service, because you have all these other little factors that take in place. So again, yeah, the decision to put the movie on Disney Plus is projected to cost Miss Johansson more than $50 million, a person familiar with details of her contract claim. Even before the pandemic, Miss Johansson was concerned that Black Widow could end up on Disney Plus as part of its wide release. In 2019, Ms. Johansson's representatives reached out to Marvel seeking assurance that Black Widow would have a theatrical-only release, according to the complaint. So hopefully they get things resolved. This is Keo Daiken. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, and share this video. I'll catch you guys later. Hope you guys all have a good day.